I, 32F, have been struggling with my relationship with my parents, 60s MF, and sister Patricia, 35F, for years, mainly due to my career choice and financial decisions. To understand the current situation, I need to go back to my high school days. Growing up, our family always appeared perfect from the outside. My dad was a successful accountant and my mom was a respected high school principal. They were pillars of our community, involved in local charities and our church. Patricia and I were expected to maintain this image of the perfect family. When I was 16 and Patricia was 19, our parents sat us down for what they called a family meeting. These meetings were usually reserved for big announcements or serious discussions. Patricia was already in her first year of college, having started her pre-med track. I remember feeling nervous, wondering what this could be about. Our parents revealed that they had been saving for our college education since we were born. They had substantial college funds for both of us, which was a relief because I had been worrying about how to pay for college. However, the relief was short-lived as they began listing the conditions attached to accessing these funds. To get our college fully paid for 4 years, we had to attend a state school, maintain a 3.5 GPA, allow them access to our grades each semester, stay out of any legal trouble, and they had to approve our majors. Their reasoning was that they didn't work hard and save money for years just for us to waste it on a useless degree. They also promised a monthly allowance if we agreed to these terms. Patricia, already in college and thriving in her pre-med program, quickly agreed. She had always been the golden child, effortlessly meeting our parents' expectations. I, on the other hand, felt a sense of dread. I had always been more creative, more of a dreamer. While I excelled in my English and art classes, I struggled with math and science. At the time, not knowing what else to do, I reluctantly agreed. I was allowed to spend my first year undeclared to complete my general education requirements. I hoped that during this time, I'd find a major that both interested me and would meet my parents' approval. That year was tough. I took a mix of classes, trying to find my passion while also considering what my parents would accept. I joined the college newspaper and fell in love with writing. I took a creative writing class as an elective and found myself looking forward to it more than any other class. During the summer after my freshman year, my parents sat me down again. They said it was time to pick a major. With a mix of hope and fear, I admitted that my passion wasn't in the fields they wanted. I told them about how much I loved writing, how I had excelled in my creative writing class, and how I wanted to major in creative writing. The silence that followed was deafening. Then my dad laughed, thinking I was joking. When he realized I was serious, his face hardened. My mom looked disappointed. They both started listing reasons why this was a bad idea: no stable career, low earning potential, not a real job. I tried to argue my case. I talked about famous authors, about how writing could lead to various career paths like journalism or publishing. I even suggested double majoring in creative writing and something they approved of. But they wouldn't budge. My parents said, "These are the terms," and cut me off financially. They said I could continue with their support if I chose an acceptable major, but creative writing was out of the question. Patricia, who was home for the summer, sided with our parents. She called me ungrateful and accused me of trying to take advantage of our parents' generosity. I was devastated. I felt like my dreams were being crushed, but I couldn't bring myself to give in. So, I made the difficult decision to go it alone. I moved out of my parents' house and into a tiny apartment with 2 roommates. I took a full-time job as a waitress and reduced my course load to part-time. It was incredibly hard. I was working long hours, often late into the night, then trying to study and complete assignments. My grades suffered initially as I struggled to balance work and school. But I was determined to prove to myself and my family that I could do this. It took me 6 years to graduate, but I did it with a degree in creative writing. During this time, my relationship with my family became increasingly strained. They would often compare me to Patricia, who had graduated medical school and started her residency as a pediatrician. After graduation, I struggled to find a job in my field. I worked various odd jobs, barista, receptionist, retail, to make ends meet while trying to establish myself as a writer. I wrote whenever I could, submitting short stories to literary magazines and working on my novel during my lunch breaks and late into the night. During this time, I met Dustin, 34M, at a local writing workshop. He was an aspiring screenwriter working as a high school English teacher. We bonded over our love of storytelling and our struggles to break into the industry. Dustin was incredibly supportive of my writing dreams, always encouraging me to keep trying even when I felt like giving up. 3 years ago, I finally got my big break. A small publishing house picked up my first novel, a coming-of-age story that drew heavily from my own experiences. To my surprise and delight, it became a moderate success. The sales weren't astronomical, but they were enough for me to quit my day job and focus on writing full-time. Dustin proposed shortly after, on the night of my first book signing. We got married last year in a small ceremony. My parents and Patricia attended, but their congratulations felt forced. My mom made a comment about how I was finally settling down and hoped that marriage would bring some stability to my life. Throughout this time, my relationship with my parents and Patricia remained strained. They never approved of my career choice and often made snide comments about how I should have listened to them. Patricia, now a successful pediatrician, frequently bragged about her achievements and how she made the right choice. Last month, Dustin and I found out we're expecting our first child. We were over the moon. After years of focusing on our careers, we felt ready to start a family. We decided to share the news with both our families over dinner. Dustin's parents were overjoyed. They immediately started talking about nursery themes and offering to babysit. When we told my parents and Patricia, their reaction was lukewarm at best. My mom's first question was if we could afford to have a baby on a writer's salary. My dad suggested I should consider getting a real job now that I had a family to support. Patricia chimed in, saying she hoped the baby would inherit Dustin's practicality instead of my flighty nature. I was hurt by their reactions but tried to brush it off. I told myself they were just concerned about the baby's well-being. However, things came to a head last week when my parents called to discuss the baby shower. They offered to host it, which initially seemed like a peace offering. But then they started listing their conditions. They wanted to approve the guest list, choose the theme, and have a say in how we plan to raise the baby. They talked about the importance of a college fund with terms, of course, and how we needed to start thinking about the baby's future career from day one. I was shocked. It felt like history repeating itself. I told them that Dustin and I would make decisions about our child. My mom said, "These are the terms if you want our help." It brought back painful memories of the college fund situation. I declined their offer and said we'd plan the shower ourselves. They seemed genuinely surprised by my refusal. My dad said I was being stubborn and short-sighted. My mom implied that I was denying my child opportunities out of spite. Patricia called me later that day, berating me for turning down our parents' generous offer. She said I was being stubborn and selfish, and that I should be grateful for any help I can get, especially with my unstable career. She went on about how she wished she was in a position to start a family, she's single and focused on her career, and how I was squandering the support she would love to have. I'm at a loss. I thought having a baby would bring my family closer, but it seems to have widened the rift. Dustin thinks we should distance ourselves from my family for the sake of our mental health and our future child. Part of me agrees, but another part still hopes for reconciliation. I can't help but wonder if I'm overreacting. Am I wrong for wanting to set boundaries with my family? Should I have accepted their help despite the conditions? I don't want to deprive my child of grandparents and an aunt, but I also don't want them to treat my child the way they've treated me. The stress of this situation is taking a toll on me, and I'm worried about how it might affect my pregnancy. I want to focus on the joy of becoming a mother, but instead, I'm constantly anxious about family drama. How do I navigate this situation while protecting myself, my marriage, and my unborn child? Update 1. It's been about a month since my last post, and I want to thank everyone for their supportive comments and advice. Your perspectives really helped me gain clarity on my situation. After a lot of discussion with Dustin, we decided to set firm boundaries with my family. We spent several evenings talking it through, weighing the pros and cons, and discussing how we want to raise our child. Dustin shared some of his own family history. His parents divorced when he was young, and he saw firsthand how important it is to have a united front as parents. We drafted an email together, carefully choosing our words. We explained that while we appreciate their concern, we are capable adults who can make our own decisions about our careers, finances, and how we raise our child. We made it clear that unsolicited advice and criticism would not be tolerated, and that our decisions regarding our child are not up for debate. Sending that email was one of the hardest things I've ever done. My hand shook as I hit the send button, and I spent the next few hours feeling alternately empowered and guilty. The response from my family was mixed, to say the least. My dad didn't reply at all, which is typical of him. He tends to retreat when faced with conflict. My mom sent a terse message saying she was disappointed in our decision but would try to respect it. Her message was full of passive-aggressive comments about how they only wanted what was best for us and the baby. Patricia, however, exploded. She called me, yelling about how I was tearing the family apart and that I would regret pushing them away when I needed help with the baby. She brought up every mistake I'd ever made, from my foolish decision to study creative writing to my unstable career choice. The call ended with her saying she wasn't sure she wanted a relationship with me if this was how I was going to behave. Despite the family drama, Dustin and I went ahead with planning our baby shower. We decided to have a small, intimate gathering with close friends and Dustin's family. Planning it was actually a joy. We chose a children's book theme, as a nod to our love of storytelling. The shower itself was lovely, filled with genuine joy and excitement for our baby. It was a stark contrast to the tension with my family, and it reinforced that we were making the right decision in setting boundaries. A week after the shower, I received a surprising call from my childhood best friend, Lily, 32F. We had drifted apart after high school, mainly due to attending different colleges and the demands of our lives. She had heard about the family drama from a mutual friend and wanted to check on me. During our conversation, Lily revealed something that shed new light on my family's behavior. Apparently, when we were in high school, my parents had approached Lily's parents with a similar college fund deal. Lily's parents, both teachers, had refused, saying it was manipulative and would put too much pressure on Lily. This led to a falling out between our families, which explained why Lily and I had drifted apart after high school. Learning this was like a missing puzzle piece falling into place. It made me realize that my parents' controlling behavior wasn't unique to me or even to their children. It was a pattern that extended to how they interacted with others as well. This information strengthened my resolve to maintain boundaries, not just for myself but for the sake of my child. On a happier note, my writing career has been going well. My publisher offered me a 2-book deal based on the outline for my next novel and the sales performance of my first book. This deal will provide some financial stability for our growing family, which is a relief. I've set up a writing schedule that I hope to maintain even after the baby arrives. Dustin has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He's even converting our guest room into a home office for me, complete with a comfortable armchair for when I need to write while nursing. His excitement about becoming a father is infectious, and it helps balance out the stress from my family situation. As my pregnancy progresses, we've been attending childbirth classes and preparing for the baby's arrival. It's bittersweet doing this without my family's involvement, but it's also liberating to make decisions without judgment or conditions. We're focusing on creating a positive, loving environment for our child. We've decided not to share any more pregnancy updates with my family. If they want to be involved, they'll need to reach out and show that they can respect our boundaries. Until then, we're focusing on the excitement of becoming parents and creating the kind of loving, supportive family we want our child to grow up in. The journey hasn't been easy, and I still have moments of doubt and sadness. But overall, I feel more at peace with our decisions. We're building a support network of friends and Dustin's family, and I'm learning that family isn't always about blood relations. As we prepare for our baby's arrival, I'm filled with a mix of emotions, excitement, nervousness, and a tinge of sadness that my family might not be as involved as I once hoped. But I'm also filled with determination to break the cycle and create a different kind of family environment for my child. Update 2. Another 2 months have passed, and I'm now well into my 3rd trimester. The baby is healthy and growing well, and we recently found out we're having a girl. Dustin and I are over the moon. We've started decorating the nursery in a woodland theme, with soft greens and purples. Dustin has been painting little animals on the walls. His hidden artistic talent has been a delightful surprise. We've had no contact with my parents or Patricia since my last update. The silence has been difficult, especially as the birth approaches. There are moments when I wish I could call my mom to ask for advice or share my excitement. But then I remember the conditions and judgment that would come with that interaction, and I know we're making the right choice for our mental health and our daughter's well-being. Interestingly, my conversation with Lily sparked a rekindling of our friendship. We've been meeting up regularly for coffee, decaf for me, of course, and it's been wonderful to reconnect. She's been a great support system, sharing her own experiences with her 2 kids and offering a listening ear when I need to vent about family issues. Lily even threw us a surprise baby sprinkle with our close friends. It was a small, intimate gathering, but it was incredibly touching. Our friends brought books to help build the baby's library, and we spent the afternoon sharing parenting stories and advice. It made me realize that while I might not have my biological family's support, I have a strong chosen family who care about us. On the career front, I've been making good progress on my new novel. The story is flowing well, and I've completed the first draft. My editor loves it, and we're aiming for a release date shortly after the baby is born. It's been challenging to balance writing with preparing for the baby, but it's also been a welcome distraction from family stress. Dustin has been amazing throughout all of this. He's taken on more household responsibilities to give me time to write and rest. He's also been my rock emotionally, always there to reassure me when I have moments of doubt or sadness about the situation with my family. Last week, we received an unexpected letter from my maternal grandmother, Nana, 85F. Nana lives in Florida and has always been a bit removed from our family dynamics. I've always been fond of her, but we don't see each other often due to the distance. In her letter, Nana expressed her disappointment in how my parents and Patricia have been treating me. She revealed that she had a similar experience with her own parents when she chose to become a teacher instead of following the family business of running a small grocery store. Her parents had disapproved, saying teaching wasn't a real career for a woman in those days. Nana encouraged me to stay true to myself and offered her unconditional support. She even enclosed a check as a gift for the baby, with no strings attached. She wrote that she hopes to visit once the baby is born and things have settled down. Nana's letter was incredibly comforting. It made me realize that while I may not have my parents' or sister's support, I'm not alone. I have Dustin, my friends, Dustin's family, and now Nana in my corner. It's a powerful reminder that family is about love and support, not control and conditions. We're now in full nesting mode, preparing for our daughter's arrival. We've been attending birthing classes, touring the hospital, and finalizing our birth plan. Despite the family drama, I'm feeling more confident and excited about this new chapter in our lives. As the due date approaches, I find myself reflecting on the journey that brought us here. While it hasn't been easy, I'm proud of the boundaries we've set and the family we're creating. I'm determined to break the cycle of conditional love and support that I grew up with. Our daughter will know that she is loved unconditionally and that her dreams are valid, no matter what path she chooses in life. Update 3. Our daughter, Zoe, was born 3 weeks ago, and our lives have changed in the most wonderful way. The birth went smoothly, and both Zoe and I are doing well. Dustin has been an incredible father and partner, taking paternity leave to help during these early weeks. The first few days were a whirlwind of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and figuring out breastfeeding. But every time I look at Zoe's tiny face, I'm filled with an overwhelming love I never knew was possible. Dustin and I are learning together, supporting each other through the challenges of new parenthood. 2 days after Zoe's birth, I received a text from Patricia. She had seen the birth announcement I posted on social media and congratulated us. Her message seemed genuinely warm, without any of the usual judgmental undertones. I was cautiously optimistic but also wary of getting my hopes up. A week later, Patricia called and asked if she could visit. After discussing it with Dustin, we agreed but set clear guidelines for the visit. To our surprise, Patricia arrived with a heartfelt apology. She admitted that seeing my success and happiness made her question the choices she had made in her own life. Patricia revealed that she had recently started therapy to work through some of her issues. She realized how unfairly she had treated me and how much of her behavior stemmed from her own insecurities and the pressure she felt to meet our parents' expectations. It was a raw, honest conversation that brought us both to tears. Patricia's visit went well. She respected our boundaries, genuinely seemed to enjoy spending time with Zoe, and even complimented my parenting. She asked about my writing and seemed sincerely interested when I told her about my upcoming book. It felt like a step towards rebuilding our relationship. As for our parents, we still haven't heard from them. Patricia mentioned that they're struggling to accept that their controlling behavior has pushed me away. She's encouraging them to seek family counseling, but it's a slow process. While part of me hopes they'll come around, I'm also at peace with the possibility that they might not. For now, we're focusing on our new life as parents. Balancing childcare and my writing career is challenging, but we're figuring it out day by day. I've set up a small writing nook in the nursery where I can work while Zoe naps. It's not always easy, but the joy of pursuing my passion while being there for my daughter is worth every struggle. Dustin has been my rock through all of this. He's taken to fatherhood with enthusiasm and patience. Watching him with Zoe, singing her silly songs and reading her stories, makes me fall in love with him all over again. Our relationship has only grown stronger through this experience. Nana is planning to visit next month, and we can't wait for her to meet Zoe. Her support has meant the world to us. Lily has been a frequent visitor, even babysitting so Dustin and I could have our first date night since Zoe's birth. Our friends have rallied around us, bringing meals, offering help, and showering Zoe with love. Looking back on this journey, I'm proud of the boundaries we've set and maintained. While the situation with my parents is still unresolved, I'm at peace with our decisions. Our priority is creating a loving, supportive environment for Zoe, free from manipulation and conditional love. As I watch Zoe grow and change every day, I'm reminded of why I fought so hard to follow my dreams. I want her to know that she can pursue her passions, whatever they may be, and that her parents will support her unconditionally. That's the legacy I want to leave for my daughter. The road hasn't been easy, and I'm sure there will be more challenges ahead. But as I sit here, writing this update with Zoe sleeping peacefully in her bassinet next to me, I know we've made the right choices. We're building the family we've always wanted, one based on love, respect, and support. To those who might be facing similar struggles with family expectations and conditional love, I want to say, stay true to yourself. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. You have the power to break cycles and create the life you want. Surround yourself with people who support and love you unconditionally. And remember, family isn't always about blood, sometimes it's about the people who stand by you when it matters most.